What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at another update for Starter Deck 29. The news, apparently, for Starter Deck 29 is coming thick and fast, but don't worry, I got you. We good. Now, what we got with Starter Deck 29 is this yellow Egghead Luffy deck I've been telling you about for a little while, and it's got that interesting leader. And what the leader does is, well, it's actually got 6 life, which is really interesting because we don't usually have 6 life leaders. It's only the second one ever. But it's got that skill whereby, when attacking, if you've got 2 or less life, draw a card, then trash a card from your hand. Decent little card cycling skill, but it only actually kicks in when you've got 2 or less life remaining. And you start with a 6 life leader, that's kind of the point. But decent little draw engine, and of course, you do start with 6 life, that's pretty good. Plus, who doesn't like Egghead Luffy? Egghead Luffy is awesome. Okay, cool. But there's a bunch of stuff we haven't talked about. For instance, we need to have a lovely chat about the fact that we have got ourselves a special pack, a bonus pack, so to speak. And we need to talk about the fact that there's some new cards coming in the set, which is honestly kind of awesome. And we might as well start off with a bonus pack, and we might as well start off with the Luffy. Yeah, that's right. They went and revealed the Luffy, and this is what we expect, honestly. This is what we get from these special pack leaders. This is something we've seen a bunch of times before, and it's something we're probably going to see, frankly, a bunch of times again. Even when the other cards mix up how they're doing things, and that is happening a bit here, we'll get there in a second, the leader cards don't tend to mix up how they're doing things. They tend to be pretty straightforward. You know, here's the Luffy leader from Starter Deck 13. Similar kind of thing. Here is the Luffy that came around in Starter Deck 21. Similar kind of thing. You see where we're going here. This is where they tend to go. So it's Luffy, and they've gone and made it all monochrome as they tend to do. Well, monochrome with a little bit of color accenting. It makes sense to me when I say monochrome. But basically what we got here is just a cool version of it. And look, when this bonus pack comes out, this is going to be the card that everybody wants. The leader is always a card everybody wants. And as a side note here, if by any chance this deck actually ends up being really playable, this is going to be a very expensive card. But it is fair to point out that although the leader always ends up looking like this, the way we do these special cards changes a little bit. The way we do these is a bit different. So Starter Deck 22, the Whitebeard and Ace, that actually went monochrome on all of the character cards, which was interesting. But then Starter Deck 21 went full art instead. Look at the 2 Luffy side by side. They essentially just kind of took off the border. So which way are we going here? Well, we're not going Starter Deck 22. We're going Starter Deck 21. Here is the Zoro side by side, and you will notice, of course, that it's the same art, same card, but instead of having that usual super rare border that super rare cards tend to have, they've taken that off and made it just look like a full art card. As with all of these things, it's really going to be up to you guys. Some of you are going to look at this and be like, that's amazing, I love it. Other people are going to look at this and be like, that's terrible, why are we being saddled with this rubbish? And the answer is, it's up to you. Some people like the full arts better, some people like the monochrome better. There is no real answer here, I don't think. Now, a reminder of the Zoro, of course, it has got Rush Character, that new skill whereby you've got Rush but only for attacking characters, and then it's got an activate main once per turn, trash a card with trigger from your hand, and then you get to draw a card, and you get to attach a Rested Don to your leader or one of your characters. And as a 6 cost 8k, that's looking pretty good. The other one we were shown in terms of the quote-unquote alternate art or special art, it's not really alternate art, is it? But the special version from the bonus pack, we were shown the Sanji here, and again, it's exactly the same. It's the same artwork. It's just taken off the border and made all full art. And it's a cool card, and this Sanji is very nice. We've got 4 cost 5k, counter plus 1,000, and on play, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, find a straw hat, add it to your hand, put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Generic searcher, but a bit beefier than normal. And as a trigger, you can trash a card from your hand to play this card. It's lovely. We like it. So we got these 3 cards that have been shown off from the bonus pack. And it's as with all of this. If you're into the bonus pack, if you like these versions of the cards, you're going to be wanting to collect them, you're going to be wanting to pop them in your deck, and if not, that's okay too. Worth noting that like Gundam has God decks where every card is a special version. We've not had that for One Piece yet. What we have had, however, is a couple of the other cards from Starter Deck 29 that have gone and been revealed, and we should probably mention those ones as well. Like, for instance, Tony Chopper, who you would absolutely expect to be in a yellow Egghead deck. Or Luffy Straw Hat yellow Egghead. You know what I mean? You add all that together and you go, yeah, of course Chopper's in there. Why would he not be? We got 4 cost 5k, counter plus 1,000, and on KO, you may add the top or bottom card of your life to your hand, which is good, but then also it means that you've got 1 less life. You've got a card advantage by picking up a card, but it's not ideal. But if you do, you can add a card from your hand to the top of your life. Oh, yeah, that's way better. And there's 2 things that's awesome about this. Firstly, you get to see an extra card. So if there's a card you particularly want, if there's a card you're searching for, it could be in your life. You never know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't know. But it could be in your life. And what this does is it allows you to grab a card from your life. And look, the chances of it being the one you're looking for probably aren't actually that high, most of the time at least. But that's not the point. You don't have the card you're looking for. Grabbing an extra card could be it. But then you're adding a card from your hand to the top of your life. You are stacking for trigger. So it could be something like Sanji, where you want it on top of your life so that you can play it as a trigger and get an extra 5k body on the board. But it could be something like Capone Beige. No, it doesn't fit as naturally in this deck as it does in a bunch of others. But that doesn't really matter now, does it? Because it stops someone attacking. And that's pretty huge. That trigger has won a lot of games. And it's yellow, so it can be played in a mono yellow deck. And Chopper just says, add a card from your hand to the top of your life. So absolutely you can use this to essentially get the card you want on top of your life while seeing an extra card. This is awesome. There's also a trigger that gives up to one of your Monkey D. Luffy 2,000 power for this turn. Now, it does specifically say Monkey D. Luffy. It does not say character or leader or any of that, so it leaves it a little bit open. It means that you can use this to bump up a character or your leader. I think most of the time, stop me if I'm being out of order here, but I think most of the time leader's probably better. I think so. It really depends when this comes out, honestly. But essentially, if this comes out as an early trigger in your turn and your opponent wants to stack a bunch of attacks up, you can essentially use this to make your leader a 7k, and now that's essentially a free 2k counter on every attack your opponent is throwing at your Luffy leader for the rest of the turn. That's kind of awesome. It's not always going to work. Sometimes it's going to come out way too late in the turn or whatever, but there are going to be times where this trigger is absolutely huge. And it's got a really nice KO skill. So you know what? Yes, I like this Chopper. There's one more card we've been shown. It's Kaku. Which, I mean, look, watch or read Egghead, and yeah, CP0, they're a big deal, right? They're the ones that come to the island. It kicks off. They're very involved. But this is supposed to be a yellow Straw Hat Luffy Egghead deck. And yeah, sure, Kaku absolutely plays a big role in the Egghead Island arc. No argument there. But coming in the Luffy deck? I'm not sure how I feel about that. Feels like this could have been saved for like EBO4 or another set. So yeah. Either way, it's 4 cost 5k, counter plus 1,000. And if you have got the same number of life as your opponent or less, this character gains 1,000 power, which makes it into a vanilla character at that point. Vanilla character is 4 cost 6k counter plus 1,000. This is that, but only when you've got the same number of life as your opponent or less. Bearing in mind, if you're playing this in the Luffy deck, and this is in the pre-constructed Luffy deck, if you're playing this in the Luffy deck, you start with more life than your opponent. So you're going to need to lose a couple, or this is going to be underpowered. We've then got a trigger that just lets you KO one of your opponent's characters that is cost free or less. Not original cost, so if you lower it down, it will work. Trigger's quite fun. So it's basically a vanilla character, but it's underpowered if you're ahead on life, which you will start the game as almost always. But it's also got a really nice trigger, which could be stacked with Chopper, and that's not too shabby. So there we go, we've got ourselves this rather lovely bonus pack. We got the first cards, we now know what that looks like, and a couple new cards in the deck revealed as well. Nice update on Starter Deck 29, but now it's over to you guys. Tell me how hyped you are for this starter deck, tell me what you're looking forward to, tell me if you think it looks awesome. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.